I would like to call the Quarry Monitoring Committee meeting for Tuesday, February 13th to order. Please take the roll.
Alderman Barber.
Here.
Member Swenson.
Here.
Alderman Hassan is excused. Member Ten Haken is excused. Member Pins. Here.
Okay, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item of business is the approval of the minutes, item 2. Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes?
I have had a chance to read it, and I would motion to approve.
Okay. Is there a second?
I would second that motion.
Okay, there's been a motion made and seconded to approve the minutes from the October 24th, 23 meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Item number 3, citizen comment period. We're all friends. Okay, seeing no citizens come forward, I will close the citizen comment period. Move on to item 4, which is the business. Action may be taken on any item. First one up is a quarterly presentation by Stantec Consulting, fourth quarter of calendar year 2023, October through December.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Just go over a few things in the packet. Usual things. So in the fourth quarter, which was October through December of 2023, we did do one observation event in October. And there was no significant dust seen for vehicles exiting the quarry, and nothing else unusual noted during that observation event. In terms of the seismic monitoring, there were a total of 18 blast events in that quarter. Our meters picked up 14 of the 18, which is fairly typical. And the important things for the PDD numbers, the quarry blasts have to have 85% or more conforming with the PDD. And there were no blasts in the fourth quarter that were over the limit for vibration or for decibels. And for the year of 2023, there was one blast that exceeded the vibration limit. And that was in the third quarter. And then that makes the year 98.2% compliant. So they are within the requirements of the PDD. There were no blast events that had an air overpressure for the decibels of over the 123 decibels. So they were 100% in compliance with that. For the complaint evaluations, there was one blast-related complaint. It was an informal one for a blast on November 28th, and it was for a blast in the northern part of the quarry, and the complaint was just to the east of there. In the newer subdivision, not in the newer subdivision, but up in that portion of the neighborhood. It wasn't a formal complaint. They just wanted to be notified if there was an exceedance for that blast, and there wasn't. The more unusual complaint for this quarter was related to a non-blast situation. On December 14th, one complaint was submitted to the city website stating cloudy water was observed in the Root River. The DNR was also notified of that complaint, and they had a conservation warden go out and try and determine the source of the cloudy water. And the warden noted that it appeared to be coming from an outfall from the Panandolan Franklin aggregate site. The warden spoke with the supervisor on site, and they stated that they had been dewatering. The dewatering of the groundwater from the pit is typically clear, but it was cloudy at that time due to additional pumping from a sediment pond. The pump was immediately turned off, and they stated they would not resume pumping until the sediment had settled. DNR issued a notice of non-compliance letter to Payne and Dolan and requested a written report to be submitted by the end of January that validates that pumping didn't resume, and outlines what steps will be taken to prevent it from happening again, and confirmation that monitoring is in place to make sure that they are actually monitoring representative discharges. So it seems like that's been addressed appropriately. The only blast this quarter that had a complaint was in the northern portion of the quarry. And that was kind of it. It was kind of a quiet quarter. There was only one address that complained more than once throughout all of 2023. And they complained a total of 2 times. So we didn't have a lot of repeats this past year.
Do you have the number of how many complaints in 23?
Off the top of my head, no, but none of the quarterly reports, I'm thinking there was less than 10 on each one, so it was a small number compared to it. This quarter, there's only one complaint for 18 blasts, so.
Maybe 10 for the year?
I don't know, but we have the full spreadsheet of all the complaints.
Yes. Like I said, I don't have that report in front of me now, so.
One of my questions would be, how do they monitor or measure cloudiness? How is that? How can you?
There's an actual meter that you can use to measure total dissolved and total suspended solids. But a lot of it's just visual observation too.
Yeah, for the most part, we just do visual observation. That quarterly, we do send outfall samples to the DNR, and they'll actually run an analysis to confirm that we're within required limits.
There is ongoing measurement of that somehow.
They have a stormwater discharge permit, I would assume.
Yes. Yeah, right.
Well, I go ahead. Yeah.
I would assume that would be limestone dust. Would that be right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that hadn't been mentioned, but okay. Cool.
I received a complaint from a former alderman who was on this committee that one of her former constituents called her. It's actually Yusuf's constituent at this point, but she just wanted to let me know that there was a complaint from that person to her about the dust on Rawson Avenue. So I got in my car and went over there, and just as I was going past, the sweeper came out and went all the way around. I watched him go. He comes down here, comes back around. So that was taken care of, the one complaint that I received. And it wasn't formal, obviously.
Right.
It was secondhand.
And during, I come during random times of the day and different days of the week for the periodic inspections that we do. And a majority of the time I see a street sweeper out there.
I said almost every day.
Yeah.
As I go shopping at Sendex every day.
I would want to be the one to have to maintain the brush heads on that sweeper because they're
always going.
So, question about the cloudy weather. Historically, has that happened before? Do we know, has that ever been reported in the past?
Not that I'm aware of. I asked Clint, who's worked here for longer than I've been alive, and he said he's never heard of that happening. But just to maybe explain a little bit exactly what happened. We were pumping water from one side of the quarry to another side of the quarry for that sediment to sink to the bottom. And then we have a permit to discharge that clear water into the Road River. And unfortunately, there was a snafu with the operators. There was just a mistake, basically. No. And the water was accidentally discharged into the Road River before it had time to settle out.
We were conducting maintenance on one of the settling ponds. We disturbed some of the sediment and failed to properly slow down the process to let it settle out.
Mm-hmm.
And what will the DNR do now to investigate it?
So they did do their investigation. Most of the time, the investigation is done right when the incident's reported so they can see what's going on. And then they requested follow-up by the end of January. So
So that's from the quarry?
The quarry
To do a
needed to
follow-
respond to the DNR by the end of January.
Yep,
Oh.
and our environmental team, not Wes and I, they're working with the DNR on that.
Oh, okay.
Yep, so that's in
So
process.
barring anything that, we'll just call it an accident.
The good news being that limestone dust is a fairly benign.
Yeah, but it's there and people see it, so
Yep.
that's
Mhm.
wondering what's happening to our waterways.
Yep.
And that's
Looking closer.
legit, but I think it is just one-time accident at this point. That's-
It's not like what's going on with the Milwaukee River estuary and that cleanup area of concern. That's a big project that I've been following personally, but yeah, we don't have that. That's a great thing.
Now we'll just have to take down all our dams. And
Fish runs, big fish runs.
that's the beaver tree that fell in.
To your question, I have been working for the city for 4 years, and I don't recall another complaint related to this matter.
I've never had anything either.
This is, yeah, I've been involved with this almost 5 years, and this is the first I've heard of anything like this.
Okay, then let's move on to item B, the review and discussion of matters. Were there any other questions on this that went on? It's okay. Item B, review and discussion of the matters pertaining to citizen complaints, blasting data from Payne Dolan and Stantec and the city's consultant.
Yeah. This is just additional information for last month that is not part of the report by Kristen. We just received one complaint that was January 3rd, and according to the monitoring data, is blast levels and air over blast level were in compliance for that complaint. And that's the only complaint that we
And
received
that's
so
the
far
day-
this year.
There was no variation or anything over on the date of the complaint, is what you're saying?
Correct, yeah, according to the data from the monitors.
Okay.
And that was that informal one where they just wanted
No,
to
there
find
was
out.
a formal complaint through the website.
Okay.
And primarily, where did that come from? What's that?
This complaint was from 58th Street, that's south.
Right, okay, south. Got it. Okay, any discussion on the January report? Additional discussion. Okay, moving very rapidly on to item C. Has to do with the status update on the quarry monitoring scope of services for calendar year 2024.
Thank you. Yeah, the agreement was approved by the Common Council and executed as recommended by this committee.
Okay.
No changes.
Okay. Obviously, we're doing a really good job because we don't have citizen complaints ever come through our meetings. We're just awesome.
Well, this is a different era.
That's true.
And to be in all fairness, I think the quarry has secretly done a lot of things to improve the situation. I don't know anything. I'm not sure of anything, but secretly, I think the quarry really has leveled out all of their blastings, because I very seldom even, and I'm in the basement a lot, and I'll hear something that sounds like, okay, but it's nothing. So whatever was going on has definitely been mitigated somehow. I don't know, maybe a fault line shifted or something and we're no longer.
Because you live in the neighborhood just south of the
Yeah,
quarry, is that
I
right?
live on 60th and Drexel.
And I'm just east of it,
Yeah,
so.
so we've got it surrounded.
They circled the wagons and figured it out.
Yeah, but I think there's something going on there that says that the situation has improved, because that was not the case a while back when we were having citizens, probably maybe 15 minutes, a half hour of citizen complaints.
Before this whole committee was set up, you mean?
Yeah.
And coming to Common Council? Oof.
When I came, well, let's say maybe 5 years ago, that started up maybe 6 years ago, and there was a period where there was a lot of issues that were brought to us. Okay, moving on to item 5, meeting and scheduling discussion.
We're looking for April or May
Let's see. When would the next quarterly report be available?
We get the data early April,
So May,
late April, early May.
so it would be,
Because I need to get it to you at least, was it 2 weeks, 10 days before?
Yes, like,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
so,
March, April, May would be the 3 months
yeah,
of the
sometime in
quarterly.
May, early May.
So May,
The
My dance card's wide
May-
open.
yeah,
the 14th. Is that
May
Tuesday?
14th,
Mhm.
and that is a Tuesday.
Mhm.
It works for
Yeah.
me.
Okay.
Does anybody want to meet before that, just for the fun of it?
Just for fun. Maybe
Love
see a
seeing
movie
you
or
guys.
something.
Okay, that is set, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn,
I would so a motion to adjourn.
Second.
and I will, abstain from my problem. Motion made and seconded, let's have a vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Mike? I also. Okay, thank you, everybody.
All right.
That was fast.
That was fast.
I know.
We are now adjourned.